Inherited tools are special because they connect us with a past that might have otherwise been forgotten, and they connect us with those we've lost. But as new tools come out and old tools wear out, when do we replace the tools that have extra special meaning to us? These were my dad's pliers. My dad was an electrician all his life, but he was also a jack of all trades that taught me so much about how to build stuff and work on things. Now these are my pliers. I went to school for electronics engineering technology and mechatronics. I've used these Klein Tools pliers a lot over the years, although I have babied them, so it doesn't look like I've done much with them. And these got me through school and a job before. These are probably the 100th pair of pliers that my dad has used over the years, and there's a lot to say about them. You can see here that the cutters have started to have a lot of trouble, but beyond that, and beyond the wear on the handles, they're in great condition. In fact, recently I just tightened them up. I used these on a recent project where I had to make a whole bunch of specialized extension cords, and using them made me feel like I was hanging out with my dad again, and that was a really special feeling for me. But I was at Home Depot the other day and I saw the Milwaukee 7-in-1 high leverage combination pliers. And before we talk about those, here's a banana for scale. Okay, please subscribe. The cutters on these Milwaukees are huge. They're very strong cutters, and you can tell on the channel lock 708s, they're not as strong, not as big, not as beefy. Beyond that, they strip more or less the same level of wire, except this one has one smaller, a few smaller, and then this one has one larger. There's a whole bunch of features that the channel lock has that the Milwaukee doesn't. But what I love about the Milwaukee here is that they have these really nice, really beefy grips on the tip of them, so they can be used for a lot of different things beyond electronics. They have crimpers, and they can cut some bolts. We'll talk about that in a bit. But let's see how they work. Okay, so I have some regular household telephone wire, which I guess is becoming less and less household nowadays. Obviously, they're going to cut both. You can tell these guys aren't cutting it as well because they're starting to have some problems with the actual cutters. They've probably been used on a lot of things my dad shouldn't have used them on, but that's what happens in the industry. And then, of course, these guys are going to cut that no problem all day long. Next up, we have some regular lamp wiring. And again, I think we're going to have the same problem over and over again, which is what I've encountered with these guys. Unfortunately, it's really hard for them to actually cut because the cutters are so damaged. But being that these guys are new and they have incredibly beefy cutters, you're going to see there's no problem here cutting things. So let's step it up just a bit here. We have 14 gauge copper wiring, and now this is still going to cut it because of the thickness of the gauge, and it cuts it pretty easily, but this just feels nice. No problem cutting that guy whatsoever. Now we also have 10 gauge wire here. Let's see how this guy does. A little bit more effort, but still pretty nice considering how beat up those cutters are. And then of course, that cuts it no problem. In terms of bending wire, of course, because you have so much tip here, you can bend no problem. You know what? let's do that differently here. Okay, so let's strip some wire here, putting the 10 gauge in. And now we're gonna bend this guy here. I'm not the best at bending, but you can see here, bends things, no problem. Okay, let's cut this guy off. So 10 is the largest that this guy opens up. And this guy has the awesome, and I'm being facetious here, loops for bending things, which it does make it a little bit easier than actually using the pliers, but I've never had a problem with using the pliers here. And then of course, like we already demonstrated, cuts no problem. In a previous video, people asked why I don't demonstrate the crimpers, and that's because for the most part, I find that they all work the same. Obviously, the channel lock 908s have more crimper selection. We're going to thread this inside, and we're going to see how easy it is to use these. So I didn't do it too deep, just to the other side, and comes out no problem. And we're going to thread it in and do the same thing on the channel locks. So again, not too far. Takes a little bit more effort and sticks a little bit at the end. And oh, it doesn't come out as smoothly. I have to actually, that's why I have this here. I thought I was going to need that. Okay, and let's quickly test the 632s. Okay, so we didn't put it all the way through, but just far enough that we can cut it. And let's see if it comes out. Comes out no problem. And let's do one more over here with our 632 thread in the channel locks. And that's easy peasy, but again, it kind of sticks. And I need this guy to get it out. Now, obviously, you can break screws that are bigger than just the two sizes here and smaller. It has 440, it has 1024, 1032. So you have a lot of options with these channel locks. But I probably won't use my dad's pliers again, as they feel kind of precious to me now. And I think that the Milwaukee 7-in-1s are a great replacement for them. I could have easily bought another pair of the channel locks, and I know these work great. But I couldn't help but fall in love with the Milwaukee 7-in-1. They just feel like beefy, they feel strong. They are a bit heavier, but I think that, I think my dad would have really liked this set of pliers. And that's a feeling I'll always have when I use these now. It feels like my dad is still around whenever I use his tools. And there's something beautiful about that. Even though it hurts so much to lose someone we love, having something small, like these wiring pliers, can make us feel like they're still around with us. And that gives me comfort. Thanks for watching.